What's going on? It's Javan Johnson here. You're watching episode number 45 of About 10 Minutes. College basketball fans, have you been enjoying this college basketball season this year? Have you been watching? There's been some exciting games on this year. You know, I've been enjoying the college basketball season. How about that Big Ten? The Big Ten conference is really tough this year. It's a lot of good teams, and that race is coming down to the wire. I mean, it's like so many teams is competing, you know, to win the regular season championship. You know, it's a big game coming up on Sunday in Ann Arbor, you know, between the Hoosiers and the Wolverines. And y'all probably know who I'm pulling for in that game. But, yeah, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things play out. Definitely, you may have seen my tweet. I was watching it. Michigan played that. They played a close game. They was playing a close game with Purdue. You know, and I'm sitting up in Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm thinking about, like, that one commercial they got on there where they, like, send it into overtime. And I'm thinking, like, no, I don't want this game to go into overtime. I want it over now. You know what I mean? So last week I was talking about a song that was coming out, a collaboration song. And the song's actually been released. It's actually Chuck Stan's new single. You know what I'm saying? Some of you may remember Chuck. He was on episode, I think, episode 12. So some time ago, but he actually released a single, and I got a verse on that song. So definitely I'm happy that song has been released. It's on iTunes. You can check out the link. I got to post it on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, so you can check out that link. The song's called Stand Up, and it's talking about, you know, standing up for Jesus Christ, you know, in our lives as far as representing Jesus Christ, you know, in the public eye. And it's not just about doing it to be seen, but it really should be a byproduct of our relationship with Jesus Christ. You know, as a result of us living for Him and having that relationship with Him, you know, we should naturally, you know, carry ourselves in a certain way. The song is a real amped up type song, you know, it's a song, high energy, really get you going type song. So definitely, once again, shout out to Chuck Stan, aka Chuck. So if I was going to give this segment of the show a title, I would call it Don't Take the Bait. And basically what I mean by that is do not open the door to the enemy in any capacity. And that quote-unquote bait can vary from person to person. For one person, it may just be a certain group of people that you just don't need to hang out with. And it's not to say that they don't love those people anymore. They can still pray for those people, but they just know they don't need to hang out with those people, because when they hang out with those people, they get into trouble and end up doing sinful things. And so they know they shouldn't hang out with those people. And so, I mean, that could be bait. Sometimes people may try to bait you into arguments for whatever reason. You know, may try to, like, you know, push your buttons. They try to get under your skin. Don't even take the bait, you know. I mean, just pray for them and keep it moving. And if you're in a job situation where things aren't being done the right way, don't let that kind of stuff rub off on you. You keep doing your job with integrity. You keep being honest, even if the company is not being honest, you know, and even if the people around you aren't being honest. You keep being honest, you know. I mean, keep being honest anyway. I mean, God will honor that. When you do things the right way, God sees it. I mean, God's taking care of us, you know. So the thing is, you know, we just have to keep honoring Him and keep obeying Him, keep following His plan for our lives, you know, and not try to figure out every little step of the process, you know. I mean, it's like He sees things that we can't see, and so we just have to make sure that we follow, you know, we follow through, you know, we follow through and we keep standing up for Jesus Christ everywhere that we go. So definitely don't take the bait. You know, don't let people pull you into stuff that you don't need to be into. Stand strong, stand your ground firm. Pray for people. Definitely be prayerful about people. Because the one thing about it is, we definitely want to keep evangelizing the people. We definitely want to keep discipling people. The thing is, we want to make sure we're doing things decently and in order. So we're talking about the single life. And, you know, I know I talked about, like, marriage and relationships and different things on here in the past, but I really want to talk about the single life, and I really want to talk about some different areas of the spectrum, because you have people who aren't in any type of relationship, who are still defined as single, but then you have people who are in a relationship but aren't married yet, and they're still are technically single as far as the Bible is concerned. During the single life, I mean, first and foremost, you know, I mean, we need to be seeking God. I mean, you should be led by God. While we are single, we need to be making the best use of our time and really working to continue to advance and progress, you know, and to put ourselves in a position to be the best spouse we can be. And kind of looking at what type of spouse would I be right now. And really enjoy that time that you have with God, you know, and things you can do, even things you have the flexibility and the time to go out and do. Once you get married, I mean, obviously you're still going to have some things you can go out and do, but it's not just about you anymore and what you want to do. It's about, you know, you and that other person becoming one. And so you got to really be looking at it, okay, like your dreams and goals and things you're trying to aspire to do, like, you know, and you seeking God about it. Now's the time to really be putting in that time to get those things done. Once another person is in the picture, You know, you got to consider that person. You got to make time for that person. But what can happen with a single person is the enemy can try to get them focused so much on you're single. You're single. You don't have anybody. Look, they got somebody. They got somebody. All your friends got somebody, and you don't. You know what I'm saying? That's what the enemy may try to get you thinking about. The thing is to think about, like, I'm in God's plan for my life. As long as I'm doing what God has for me to do, I'm good. And the way that He takes you to your destination may be totally different than the way He takes 1,000 other people. And that's okay. Because one thing I've learned, and this is just even kind of in life, like if you really plan your days out, you know, if you really have goals and aspirations and things you're trying to get done, and you start to plan your days out, you'll start to find that you have less and less time to be bored or anything like that because, you know, you have so much on your agenda. But what can happen is when you don't really have stuff planned out and things you need to get done, you know, you may be thinking I'm bored, and then, like, you know, 5 hours later you think about, oh man, I got all this other stuff I need to do. I didn't do it, you know what I mean? But you just didn't really have it written down, so you didn't, you know, you didn't think about it. So I think it is important to write things down, put stuff to paper, and then get to working on it. It's important that we seek God for the timing of things we should do and not try to force it just because you're ready to do something. It's like you had an NBA draft. When new rookies are coming into the league, they have the draft, and teams get an opportunity to pick the player that they want. So in the off season, they're preparing themselves to be on that team. And so regardless of how excited that player is to join the team, there's still a process that the player has to go to. They can't just say, hey, let's start the season now. I'm ready to start playing games now. The season just ended here recently, and that's not the way it works. There's a cycle that has to go through, and, you know, the season's going to start, you know, at this point, and we're not there yet. And things are done a certain way for a certain reason, and you can't just try to force stuff to happen. And so likewise, we don't want to try to force stuff just because we're excited about something. We need to let the process play out and do things in God's timing. It's also good to really study and have a good understanding of your role specifically, you know, as a husband or a wife. And throughout your time, you know, that you're single, if you're seeing that, okay, I need to work on, I really need to work on this area right here because the Bible says I need to be like this, and I'm really not like this in this area. These are times to better ourselves, you know, and to work on ourselves. And so, and to kind of go back to the other end of the spectrum, if you are in a relationship, like really look at where that's going, you know, and what's going on in that relationship. Make sure you're not just in it just, you know, for selfish reasons, or make sure you're not just in it because, you know, because everybody else is in a relationship and you don't want to be the only person like left out. That's not the reason to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? You really need to be looking at, is this headed towards marriage? You know, if it's not, why am I here? Like, what's the purpose of this? When dealing with the single life, it's important to look at our motives, to look at the reasons, you know, why we want what we want, and to make sure we have boundaries. You know, if you get to the point where you start going on dates and that kind of stuff, you know, you're getting to know a person better, make sure you have the boundaries. You know, make sure you're not doing things that's inappropriate. You know, and if you need more clarification on that, you know, read through the Bible. So while you're single, make the most of the time that you have. You know, make the most of every day that you have. Use it wisely and prepare yourself, you know, for that next step.